In a region where ancient conflicts simmer beneath the surface, a new crisis is unfolding, a place where the sounds of war and despair echo through the streets, where the very fabric of humanity is being tested. Welcome to Rafah, Gaza, where the Israeli-Palestinian conflict has reached a boiling point. In the midst of this chaos, a deadly airstrike has left a trail of destruction and death. The world is watching, but what's really happening on the ground? Get ready for a journey into the eye of the storm, where the stakes are high and the future is uncertain. Israel-Palestine history. The Israeli-Palestinian conflict is a long-standing and complex issue that has been marked by numerous military engagements and political tensions. The conflict has its roots in the late 19th century, when Zionists sought to establish a homeland for the Jewish people in Ottoman-controlled Palestine. This led to the establishment of Israel in 1948, which was met with resistance from the Arab population, resulting in a series of wars and ongoing violence. The establishment of Israel led to the displacement of hundreds of thousands of Palestinians who became refugees. This sparked a decades-long conflict between Israel and the Palestinian people. The 1948 Arab-Israeli War, also known as the War of Independence, saw Israel fight against the Arab states of Egypt, Transjordan, Iraq, Syria, and Lebanon. The war resulted in the displacement of Palestinians and the establishment of Israel on most of the Mandate's territory, with the Gaza Strip and the West Bank controlled by Egypt and Jordan. Respectively, the conflict has continued to escalate over the years, with numerous peace negotiations failing to produce a lasting agreement. The 1967 Six-Day War saw Israel occupy the West Bank and the Gaza Strip, which has been the longest military occupation in modern history. This occupation has been widely condemned for violating the human rights of Palestinians. The ongoing conflict in Rafah, Gaza Strip has escalated significantly in recent weeks, with an Israeli airstrike on a refugee camp killing at least 45 civilians, including children. This tragic incident has sparked international outrage and calls for immediate intervention. Despite a UN court order to halt operations in Rafah, Israeli forces have continued their assault, deepening the humanitarian crisis. The attack has been widely condemned by global leaders and human rights organizations. The United States, a key ally of Israel, faces growing pressure to take a stronger stance against the continued military actions in Rafah. The ongoing conflict has led to the displacement of over 1 million Palestinians, many of whom had already been displaced multiple times. Health facilities in Rafah are overwhelmed, with only one operational hospital remaining. Humanitarian aid to Gaza has been severely hampered by the conflict, with routes to Rafah cut off, exacerbating the crisis. The Israeli military claims that their strike targeted a Hamas compound in Rafah, resulting in the deaths of senior Hamas operatives. However, they acknowledged civilian casualties and stated that the incident is under investigation. The continuation of military operations in Rafah, despite the UN court's order, raises significant legal and ethical questions. The 1979 Egypt-Israel Peace Treaty, also known as the Camp David Accords, was signed after the 1973 Yom Kippur War. Under this treaty, Israel withdrew from the Sinai Peninsula, and the two countries normalized their relations. The Rafah crossing is located on the border between Gaza and Egypt, and it is a vital route for humanitarian aid into the besieged Gaza Strip. Egypt has condemned Israel's seizure of control over the Palestinian side of the crossing as a dangerous escalation that endangers the safety of more than 1 million Palestinians in Rafah. While Israel claims that its military operation in Rafah does not violate the peace treaty with Egypt, Cairo has not explicitly stated whether the Israeli move is a violation of the agreement. Egypt has also halted the transfer of humanitarian aid through the Rafah crossing in protest of Israel's takeover of the strategic gateway. All Eyes on Rafah campaign. The All Eyes on Rafah issue refers to a social media campaign that highlights the humanitarian crisis and civilian casualties in Rafah, Gaza, following an Israeli airstrike. The campaign aims to draw international attention to the dire situation in Rafah and the ongoing conflict between Israel and Hamas. The campaign has gained significant traction with numerous celebrities and public figures expressing solidarity with the Palestinians and condemning the Israeli actions. The hashtag #AlliesOnRafah has been used to spread awareness and mobilize support for the cause. The campaign has also sparked a broader discussion about the role of social media in shaping public opinion and influencing political responses to conflicts. The campaign's focus on Rafah is particularly significant because it is a city that has historically been a focal point in the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. The recent airstrike and ongoing military operations have exacerbated the humanitarian crisis, with over 1 million Palestinians displaced and health facilities overwhelmed. War with Egypt and Jordan. The situation in Rafah, Gaza Strip, has escalated significantly, with both Egypt and Jordan expressing strong opposition to Israel's military actions. While there is no indication that Egypt and Jordan are planning to declare war on Israel directly due to the Rafah issue, their reactions are significant. Egypt has halted the transfer of humanitarian aid through the Rafah crossing in protest of Israel's takeover of the strategic gateway. And Jordan has recalled its ambassador to Israel and warned that any attempt to forcibly displace Palestinians to Jordan or Egypt is rejected. These actions demonstrate the strong diplomatic and humanitarian concerns of both countries regarding the situation in Rafah. However, the possibility of Egypt and Jordan taking more drastic measures cannot be ruled out entirely. If Israel continues to disregard international warnings and the International Court of Justice's order, Egypt and Jordan might consider more severe actions. For instance, Egypt has already announced its intention to back South Africa's genocide case against Israel at the International Court of Justice, and there are rumors of Cairo contemplating the downgrading of its relations with Jerusalem. Jordan too has threatened to terminate its peace treaty with Israel if the situation in Rafah continues to deteriorate. While these actions are not necessarily a declaration of war, they do indicate a significant escalation of tensions between the countries involved. Well, there you have it, a deep dive into the complex and ongoing Israeli-Palestinian conflict, with a focus on the recent escalation in Rafah, Gaza. We covered a lot of ground, from the historical background and key events like the 1948 Arab-Israeli War, to the current humanitarian crisis unfolding in Rafah after the deadly Israeli airstrike. It's a sobering reminder of the human toll of this conflict, with over 1 million Palestinians displaced and civilian casualties mounting. The All Eyes on Rafah social media campaign is shining a much-needed spotlight on the situation and the urgent need for intervention. Ultimately, this conflict remains a complex geopolitical issue with no easy solutions. But raising awareness and maintaining international pressure for a peaceful resolution is crucial. As always, I encourage you to continue learning about this topic from a variety of trusted sources and to support humanitarian efforts to aid those affected by the conflict. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.